Hi, I'm Amara, and I'm hi, Sarah Uranus and Sarah Neptune here, and we have another. Let's see. My hair's a mess. Well, we can't worry about that now. And today we have another Santa Claus segment that we can talk about. This Santa Claus actually happened on WWE Backstage last night. Now, for folks that don't know, WWE Backstage is a show that WWE does on Fox Sports at 11 on Tuesday nights. Why? Because that's the only time Fox Sports could give them. Now, a lot of folks might lead themselves to believe that the only Santa Claus segments that WWE did this year was the heavy machinery or heavy tools of Tucker Knight and Otis Ogibich, or the Santa Claus that wanted 24/7 winnings from Akira Tozawa and R-Truth, the same one that R-Truth wanted back from. Now, some folks might think those are the only two Santa Clauses this year. Some might think the Santa Claus in OVW or the Santa Claus singing the Jesus songs in NWA, and some might think that the Santa Claus actually got two Santa Clauses to talk about. So, might think those were the only Santa Clauses that happened. So there were actually two other Santa Clauses. So AEW, on AEW Dark, does a Santa Claus. And it's Santa Claus fighting who used to be known as Ty Dillinger during his run in WWE, but now has gone back to being Shawn Spears again, who he was before that. Now, I'm not going to go and say, I'm just going to say, yeah, that was a Santa Claus fight, And yeah, Shawn Spears, or I can call him Ty Dillinger, I'm allowed to call him that, even though he's Shawn Spears again, beat Santa Claus. So that was AEW Santa Claus for AEW Dark. Then another Santa Claus happened. Can I go on now? Sure. So, as Sarah Uranus put it, there's one more Santa Claus segment. Not the one that happened in the NWA we talked about, that or OVW or AEW, or the two in WWE, but one more in WWE happened. It was on WWE Backstage. Santa Claus comes out and gives gifts to Booker T and Ember Moon and Renee Young and Christian Cage, and that was good. I didn't think that they were going to do Santa Claus on WWE Backstage, but it looks like they did. So this year, there's at least 3 Santa Clauses that were done by WWE, of course, including including OVW Santa Claus, where Santa Claus comes out and just talks about who's going to be in the Nightmare Rumble and stuff like that, and that's all it was. Or Santa Claus and NWA Power with Santa Claus with Santa Claus singing a Jesus song, believe it or not. Or the Santa Claus that happened and the one we just talked about. This year there was no Santa Claus from IW again. IW just gave up on Santa Claus 7 years ago, which is truly sad. So this year we did get that Santa Claus. Alright, so as we look at it now, let's look at the Santa Claus segments we did get this year. The one from WWE we know was Tucker Knight and Odin Okabich as Heavy Machinery, Heavy Tools, taking on the rivals Scott Dawson and Dash Weiler dressed as Santa Claus. A man dressed as Santa Claus wins the W24/7 winnings from Akira Tozawa on Monday Night Raw, but then loses it. But then R-Truth wins it back from him. And we got also Santa Claus and WWE Backstage giving gifts off to Ember Moon, Christian Cage, Booker T, and Renee Young. And not including that, not to leave out, as Neptune would tell me, not to leave out Santa Claus for NWA Power, singing a Jesus song, and being into singing a Jesus song. Or the Santa Claus that also happened in OVW, which was basically just him talking about who's going to be in the nightmare fight, who's going to start first, who's going to start last, which was as far as the OVW Santa Claus went. And AEW Santa Claus pretty much was what most it is, with someone as Santa Claus. I guess it was if I don't know, I forget the name of the wrestler, but it was Santa Claus fighting Ty Dillinger, who is now Shawn Spears. You're right, Sailor Uranus, you're right about that. So those were all the Santa Claus segments that happened this year that made 3 for WWE, Friday Night SmackDown, Monday Night Raw, and Backstage, 1 for NWA Power, 1 for OVW on their show, and 1 for AEW on Dark. None from IW. So this year, once again, IW didn't do any Santa Clauses, which is sad. We forgot to mention that ZCW did one. But this Santa Claus was mostly just a Santa Claus who was drunk, I guess, going around giving gifts to wrestlers and everyone, being a jerk, that's what the ZZW Santa Claus was, but at least ZCW put a Santa Claus one out there. So that was about it. So I think that's going to be it for all the Santa Clauses, unless they do Santa Claus on NXT or in Dynamite, which I don't really think they will, but if they do, that will at least have made 4 Santa Clauses for WWE at that point, and I'll make only 2 Santa Clauses for AEW if they do. So that's about it. I'm Sailor Uranus, I'm Sailor Neptune. Have a happy Yule, have a happy Jesus birthday, and we'll see you tomorrow.